Good morning, everybody. This is Judith. I hope you're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, I'm winding things down. Enough people reached out to me to let me know that people read Refuel and they love Refuel, but I probably don't have to do it every week. And I have a ebook out that is 33 pages. It's $14. Thank you to those who've already purchased it. I'm telling you, it's got value and it's everything I would have wanted to know as I started my caregiving journey. And I may do one that is more specific to financing. Um, but, there are no financial packages or anything. You just have to figure out how you want to spend your money because um, that's the tricky part of any long term care. There's really no uh, rhyme or reason. Like there's no help to help you pay for things. You have to figure all of that out on your own. And I might do a little, you know, either an addition to that book or a new book just talking about that. It's really frustrating. It's a lot of work. And when you take care of a completely grown person, see, this is where it differs from a baby as well. A grown person has assets and life insurance packages and things they've purchased and things they've done, and you have to, pretty much be like a forensic specialist trying to figure out where everything is and how to get everything taken care of for that person. I made it a little easier on myself. I monitored my mom's credit so nobody would, take over her credit and buy cars and houses and stuff in her name. You have to watch out because most older people have pretty decent credit, and someone will steal it and go to town. So you have to be careful with that kind of thing too. So I'm going to keep working on some version of something for Refuel, just not a weekly newsletter. That's very time consuming, but people do enjoy it, and I've enjoyed writing it. Same with Mad Love. I don't know if that I'll keep Mad Love, but if I do, it definitely won't come out every day. Um, this was a lot of energy too. There are mornings now I just don't even think about it, and it's like, oh wait, I got a podcast. It was very much connected to work, and when I started, I used to just pick up the phone at whatever time of the day and talk and make the show. But now, I have to really days could go by and I would completely forget. So I have to focus to remember to do it. Um, you know, and there are always topics I want to talk about. So I'll figure out how this will go going forward into 2026. I'm excited. Things are, winding down, but endings are also beginnings. Um, you know, I saw someone else of a black person complaining about Nancy Pelosi and her insider trading. I'm so glad we're all waking up to this. This has been an absolute uh, revolution for black people to look at Democrats and be like, what are we getting for our vote? For real. And they have counted on our loyalty, but for what? Nancy Pelosi has made money hand over fist insider trading. And she's not the only one. There's so many. And if you go look up their names, you'll see Quiver Quantitative is who I follow. And you'll just see there's lists of people. There's somebody higher than Pelosi I never even heard of. And it's like they're not even trying to hide the fact that they're so greedy. They don't care about the people. Why would you care about me when you have $280 million in the bank that you made doing something that should be illegal? That is illegal for people other than you. If you weren't in Congress, why they're even allowed to be in the stock market is unbelievable because it's a clear conflict of interest. You can sit on any committee and make decisions. And so, of course, you're going to know who got the big contract. Yeah, of course, you're going to go invest in them. It's ridiculous. The other thing I'm pointing out right now, like, I am entering a very interesting phase of my life. I feel I'm in my ascension era. And if I sound impatient, if I sound like I don't have a lot of time to talk, it's because I don't. I really have some big plans. And as a writer and creator, I have to give myself to those things and do those things. As a writer, you can't just talk about writing and be like, oh, I wrote it. You actually have to write it. You have to take time and hunker down and write. And this is getting to be my favorite time of the year. It's going to be cold, it's going to be rainy, and it's writing season. So I expect to be doing an awful lot of writing. I will not be keyed in on all the latest news because the news is depressing and I don't think it's real. I think it's true for some things, but not completely true for other things. I don't enjoy watching it. I don't need to know the latest of everything. And I'm not going to inflame myself all day. Listen, you can do yourself the biggest favor in the world by just focusing on your own life. If you focus on your own life for 24 hours and none of those things that you saw on the internet affected you, then you got a pretty good life. Stop feeding into it. Stop wanting to be upset about something. It just makes you feel important, but you're not. You can't stop any of it, and you feeling bad about it isn't helping. The more weakened and powerless you feel, they can control you more. And you say, who is they? Whoever's running all this bullshit. Because it's not the president, and it's not who we think it is. There's somebody who has spent a lot of time trying to control people. Not, and a lot of somebodies. They're very, very wealthy. They're very bored. They probably are into some shit you couldn't imagine, and if they wanted to solve the world's problems, they could. They just don't want to. They might be the world's problems. Can you tell me if a bunch of billionaires, or you can't even put it into a number? They are so wealthy, they don't even know how much wealth they have. You trying to tell me people with that kind of money couldn't end suffering on this planet if they wanted to? Maybe it's because they're the cause of the suffering. Yeah. They get bored and they start experimenting. There are laws in Australia for child hunting, and Nicole Kidman's father died with those charges on him. Ghislaine Maxwell's father died mysteriously falling off of his own boat. Very strange. It's like you can know too much, you can do too much. There are people out here operating on a level that you and I couldn't even imagine, and they won't make movies about it because they don't want you to know about it. So stop feeding in all this shit and don't call me with it. I'm not interested. I'm building an empire over here and it takes everything I can to stay focused on it. And you know, I just don't want to hear about all the bad news in the world. I'm not interested in it. And I can't fix it, and neither can you. And if it's not happening to you, maybe it's not really happening. I remember I went to dinner with somebody and they were like, I had a bad week. And every story they told was about somebody else. And I was like, they had a bad week, not you. And I used to be that person. And that I was that person when I didn't have a life. When you don't have your own life, you glom onto other people's problems. Because then it makes you feel like you're doing something you can solve other people's problems. But in reality, you're just running away from your own life. It's glaringly obvious you don't have one. I was that person. I'm not talking out of turn. I have been that person at times in my life. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I caring about more about their problems than my own life? Because I didn't have one. And that's why people get frustrated with gossips and uh, haters. Because it's like, are you just sitting around worrying about what I'm doing instead of actually doing something? And then there's a point where you just reach, like, I'm entering my quietly impactful era. Like, I just want a quiet, very impactful life. I don't have to talk all day. I don't have to go anywhere and be seen by everybody. That's not that's never really been who I was, but I did it when I was younger because that's what everybody else did. But I just want to work. I haven't been able to be this focused on my own projects in at least 7 years. And I got some stuff done, but it really became laborious by 2021, 2022, 2023. I mean, I just could not get anything done. And I gave all my energy to caregiving, and I'm glad that I did it. I don't have any regrets. I'm not complaining. But now I sort of feel like I've been set free. And you're not going to hit me up with a bunch of shit I don't care about. Don't call me. I had to tell someone, like, don't call me. I am not sitting over here sad. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I am trying to build something that's sustainable and gives me the life of my dreams that I've wanted since I got here. So I would advise you, if you have dreams and goals, you need to get hyper focused and pay attention to that, because as this thing starts to fall apart, you need a foundation of something to sustain you. Because I mean, if this is what the beginning of the government shutdown is going to look like, I mean, this is the beginning of what a government colossal failure looks like. And we're making it, and they need to open up those coffers. And somehow, I'm not sure how SNAP became the only thing that's vocally being affected, but I have friends who aren't getting paychecks. This is ridiculous. And if this is what they want, which is to collapse the economy, because who's if you're single and you haven't gotten your paycheck in a month and a half, how in the hell are you supposed to go do anything? You know what I mean? Who's going to loan you money to pay your bills till you get back on your feet? Because the government shut down. You're employed. I mean, that's ridiculous. These things historically have only lasted like a couple of weeks. We're going on what, 2 months? This is ridiculous. I'm telling you, I made a very strong plea to avoid Black Friday, and I hope people take it to heart, because these companies are counting on your money to could put them in the black for the year. Well, how about putting all the people in the black and not worrying so much about your bottom line? The way companies are designed, as soon as they go public, they have the unenviable task of trying to make more money than they did the year before. Eventually, every company comes to this, because companies aren't really real. They're not designed to grow infinitely. That's what's wrong with everything. And now you create this myth that a company can continue to grow into eternity, and now our population is shrinking. People are dying younger because they're stressed the fuck out, and people are getting old and they're dying, and there's not enough people to fill in the population. It was going to shrink. Peter Zehan told us that. He writes very interesting books about population, and the global population is shrinking. And what you're witnessing is a contraction. There are people who bought their last F 150. There are people who bought their last houses. There are people who have, bought their last, vacation rental. And they did very, very well. But their kids and grandkids can't even get the financing to buy it off of them. You're going to have to damn near give your stuff away to your children if you want them to have it. Because you paid all their tuitions, and now, you know, their tuitions aren't really generating the kind of income return on investment. I met a young lady over the weekend who wants to go to Howard. She has a couple schools, but I think I convinced her to go to Howard. And she was like, well, I want to be a child psychologist. I was like, hey, that's great. But I'm telling you, I majored in film. in a much different climate. You need something that's gonna make you. We need to make money, so you gotta. I would consider a double major. Pick something that will give you an income, a job that people will pay you. And child psychology ain't it. I mean, not at these prices. Go to state school. You go to a local school for a psychology degree. So yeah, there you have it. Tough talk, but it's true. Like, wake up. It's time to realize that the biggest currency you have is your attention. And you scroll all day, you get mad, you get sad, you feel helpless and weak, and then you've lost a day. You haven't done shit. You haven't accomplished shit, you haven't built shit, and you've been distracted. And, you know, you wash, rinse, repeat. And then you head into the job you can't stand. You talk to the husband you hate, or the wife you don't like, and you drive a car that you probably don't love. It's not your dream car. People wonder why they're not living their dream lives. It's because you pay attention to bullshit all day. Stop doing that. Focus on your life and the quality of your life, and the things that you desire to see happen for yourself. Hand to God. Otherwise, you are going to be miserable. There is an enormous amount of bad news going on out here, and you can't fix any of it. And that doesn't mean you have to ignore other people's pain, but you don't have to absorb other people's pain either. They don't absorb yours. And you can't help people if you down there in the trenches with them. You simply must focus on yourself and the quality of your life and what you came here to do. You can't keep other people. That's the other thing. If God sent you to learn something and it's full of pain, you can't keep people from their pain. That's their destiny, not yours. You don't know what contract they signed with God to get here. God gives everybody a mission and you don't know theirs. You need to know yours and focus on fulfilling it. Otherwise, you're going to have to keep coming back here over and over and over again. And who wants that? I'm not suicidal and I'm not sad and I'm not depressed. But this has been a tough row. Earth school is hard. It just is. So I hope you have a happy Monday. We're already at the fucking 10th of November. What is happening? It feels like we're on hyperspeed. Ah, be well.